as possible and as much as possible, getting not only the blood but the meat and as much protein before they're likely to be chased off. It's only when they're undisturbed that they will then move on to other parts of the carcass. Two mares and a foal. I'm thinking hanging back, that must be the stallion that is hanging back, being macho, pretending to look around. Meanwhile he's just sending the mares in first, just in case. Yeah, definitely the stallion coming in at the back there. So that sends the mares in first. Okay, ladies first. You go and eat, or rather you go and drink. If there's lion about, they can get you, and then I'll have my drink. But no, he is actually very protective. And very, very often when zebra are hunted, it's sometimes likely that it's the stallion that is going to be killed, because he's going to separate from the herd and try and draw the predators away from his herd. He's stronger, he's able to bite and kick and fight. You know, predators are not 100% successful. They're not allowed to be. It would be kind of against nature's order if every time a predator went for a kill and made the kill. It would be just far too what's the word I'm looking for? I don't know, it would just take too much of a toll on the animal. That mare in the middle looks pregnant, although that foal looks like it could have been hers. Not too sure of the interval between foals. I think it's about a 12-month gestation, so it's not like a cow that can give birth once a year, or rather other bovids, the buffalo. Maybe they're both priggies. Sometimes hard to tell because a little bit of a showdown again. The zebra are naturally bloated. So, let's go and see if we can...
maybe what you think something's going to happen there?
Well, these two?
Yeah.
Could be.
Let's maybe just give it another 2-3 minutes.
Okay. Okay. I'm not sure if I understand that. Dave's asking if when hippos leave the water to go to another waterhole, is it because of it's polluted because of their own waste? Is that it? I think Dave, you can't really say that they leave a waterhole because it's polluted with their own waste and that's why they go to other waterholes. I mean, all of these waterholes, all of these dams that we've got here have shrunk in size. They are not only polluted with hippo waste, but with that of elephant and buffalo as well that go into the water, probably zebra wade sometimes too, not to mention the birds and the frogs and the insects and I think the main reason why hippo move from water to water is actually now, this time of the year, because of the grazing. There are a number of waterholes within their territories or dams in this part of the world at any rate, And it's not a case of leaving one and going to stay in. It's just a case of that's where they end up for the day. Sometimes you'll find that, like these bulls we've had, where this one bull has been here and the other bull was at Biffles Dam. There is something that can go on, but there's a bit of huffing and puffing. Maybe I'm wrong, maybe it's a mating couple and we've been wrong all along, but I'm sure they're both bulls. Just the thickness of those necks. If they are, I can't imagine what would get two bulls in one area, one water, especially a small dam like this. We had to go into a drought situation and these waterholes shrunk and shrunk and shrunk. And these dams, calling them waterholes, the dams, I suppose it's semantics. You would find, actually it wouldn't really happen here, because they always manage to get their way to water, permanent water, even if they have to go all the way back down to the Sand River, and then the Sabi River. And they'll easily find that by just following the riverbeds, the river lines. But in some places where rivers dry up and mud pools remain and hippos become packed in the remaining little ponds like sardines, there's nothing they can really do about it. It's got nothing really to do with them soiling the water and the concentration of their own waste in the water. It's all got to do with the availability of grazing in the immediate vicinity. I don't think there's much aggression here. I guess it could erupt at any moment. We don't know. Maybe they've been fighting. I'm not seeing any signs of scarring around the heads. But who knows? Yep. Hi there, Jack. We were talking about you last night. Talking to Conrad, who has a dog, well, a very special working dog. Tracks poachers, tracks animals, can find snares. Anyway, I'm digressing. Let's move along. Jack wanted to know, how do you sex zebra, besides the obvious? Which actually isn't always that obvious. To some degree it's the darker... Oh, excuse me, I feel like I'm going to sneeze. Gosh.
Bless you.
Thank you. But generally it's a thicker neck. Now when we won't find some zebra. We've got enough zebra around at the moment. I think we should be able to find another group of zebra, and I can try and point it out to you. Who was it? Somebody had mentioned, maybe it was Noel on a tryout drive, mentioned something about a difference in stripes on the rump. I'm not too sure if I've ever noticed something like that, but I won't discount it. I'm always open to learning new things, especially from all the other presenters that come in, and getting another couple of presenters coming to have a look at things later today. What am I saying? Later next week. I wonder what was going on here. Maybe Karula moved from where she was and she came this way. That's what all these vehicle tracks are about. But generally speaking, the stallion, by his position, he's sometimes set apart from the herd, quite often at the back of the herd, the dazzle. But thicker neck, heavier shoulders. There's a very easy way to tell the sex of a zebra if you could look in its mouth, because zebra stallion has got canines, very, very big canines that he uses for fighting or as a weapon in defense. And in fact, for those of you who deal with horses, you might know that every now and then you might get a stallion with I think they're called wolf teeth in horses, canine, same thing. Trying to get my jacket. It's actually a little bit cool already. I might freeze to death this afternoon because I've only got my jacket. I've got no layers other than my short sleeve shirt underneath. And gosh, temperature must be about 70 degrees. It's freezing. Joke. People are probably cursing me now. Mark, come and see the cold in our part of the world. Been there, done it. Can't go back. Next time I go anywhere in the northern hemisphere, it'll be summer. Especially Europe. I've seen Europe in winter. Next time I'll see it in summer, if I ever get there. So what do we got? Elephant tracks. No. Yes. Could have been those illies from this morning. Yep, I think this was those elephants. Cut through Spum Road, maybe. Don't know. We'll have to look at Spum Road later. Maybe catch up with that same group of zebra on Philemon's cut line.
Good afternoon, mobile station. Is an update?
Afternoon, Andrew. Just come past Treehouse Dam. Lutu so far?
Yes. I'll check access. No, follow the Gala. Can come out again. Thank you. Also on Judah, but I bumped to one of the mobile schools, one of my things, I don't know.
Afternoon, guys. I've just done Treehouse Dam, getting up to Spum Road. Lutu so far.
Everything here?
Other than that bumper behind Start Building. Looks like it could be the termite mound where Karula was. Sure it is. What did you see? Oh, if there's a diaper running, then she's not around. Not likely. I haven't been looking at tracks. Ephraim, come in. Ephraim, what sighting did you have this morning at Weaver's Nest, Treehouse Dam, South Road Junction? Yeah, no, I'm at that place now, but I see a lot of them cars from and movers going off road, just On the way up to Treehouse Dam from Weaver's Nest. Okay, copy. I keep dragging something. I'm just hearing something. Is it a tire? I don't know. Hearing things. Okay, we're just gonna look. Tell you what we'll do. Somebody asked me about the quarry the other day. We're going to just do a little bit of Gary Main, see if there are any tracks crossing in case Karula decided to take the hike. And I'll show you the quarry at the same time. Since we're showing you things today. Whoa, man, the Dicrostachus, Mark. Okay, Mark. Mark, you know you're talking to yourself. Yes, Mark, we've had this discussion, haven't we? Several times. Seeing anything like leopard tracks crossing the road. Every new guide presenter that we get, and I did it several times when I was still fresh here in Juma, learning the roads. Many of us would turn in here only to find that it was a quarry. Doesn't matter how many times you make the mistake, the first month or two, one does it every now and then. But yeah, this is the quarry area where gravel was dug out in the past. Looks like there's still gravel being dug out of here from time to time for fixing roads, all sorts of things. Oops. Abel? Yeah, I'm here now at Shiduli. I'm just looking for Karula now. I'm not seeing Our Lady of Juma. Let me go back this way. We've got to make a big loop. I don't see any ingress. Yeah, I don't see ingress. Maybe I'm looking at the wrong schedule, but I don't see her here. Just Munti was running away. I'm gonna go. Yeah, kitty kitty. Karula Karula. Karula. Where are you? Nice big burrow there next to my mouth. Excuse me, Franklin, have you seen a leopard? Oh, you don't speak English? Okay, sorry. I don't speak Franklin at the moment. Doesn't seem like they've seen a leopard. A little bit too relaxed. There's any sign of tracks here on Chum Road. Chum. Doesn't seem like it. Maybe she's somewhere near the dam. Maybe she went for water. But I didn't see any tracks on the road there. Do another turn around this little area. There are no tracks here. She didn't come onto Spam Road. Which means she may have moved to the east, staying within the block. Abel, come in. Are you still coming down Gary Main? Are you still coming up Gary Main? Okay, copy. Negative, Johnny, not on the termite mound. I'm just trying to find some corns, or so far nothing.
Okay, like a start back bus.
If anything, looks like she may have moved deeper into the block. Maybe need to check two other termite mounds. There didn't appear to be any tracks coming up from Treehouse Dam. There's nothing on Spam Road, and I'll let Abel check Barry Main. Take one more little try where Patrick went in this morning. You know, I still can't actually, doesn't quite, where was that taken? So it's practically where she was on the termite mound. It's hard for me to conceive that a leopard like Karula, who absolutely loves Dacre and can hunt them pretty well, hasn't shown her face after Dacre was running around. See a lizard. Maybe. Not a sign. Not a track or a sign or nothing. Where are you, Aubrey? You normally cover a lot of ground quickly. Not Aubrey, Abel. I need to stay and wait for Abel. Let's go to Spam Road and Goodman's cut line.
I want them to come and strike. Okay, I'm coming.
No, a day like today, the temperature is perfect for a leopard to go hunting, to go and do all sorts of things. It's not going to be confined to any particular spot. You know, like when it's shady, or rather when it's hot and they stick to the shade. They're not likely to move around much. A day like today, she could be on Zoe's road by now. Could be in Bifflesville. Go ahead. Confirm you've got Ingwe? No, I didn't find her. I can't find any Mkonzo, can't find Ingwe. I only found a Munti running away from that same Shiduli. I'm going down Spam Road, but there's still no Mkonzo here. Yeah, elephant tracks. They've gone south. Oh, that's what I said. There's no English. Got Ndlovu and Konzo heading south down Spam Road. They probably crossed Gary Main. We can do a loop. There's a fresh branch in the road. If they may be headed further west and they're kind of there where Zoe's Road Junction is. Buffalo. Hey, buffalo. No, don't get up on my count. Oh, it's one horn. I think we know this bull. We're your mates. Especially the other one that's a little bit more balanced than you. That's got no horns. Talk about a chip on his shoulder. Try and meet a buffalo with one horn. Oh, there his buddies are down the bottom.
Yeah, this is the one Madam Combi is heading more east away and
An antisocial buffalo. Gonna go a little forward if I can. Not too much fuss or noise. There's a big old bull there. Got one horn. Doesn't quite hold the attention or the what are you doing, boys? Forward. Go. Roll. nearly downhill. Oh, don't make me start this part. Guess I'm going to have to, as much as I want, to just roll on closer. Not going to be able to. That pink-nosed buffalo we've seen before too. I do seem to recall seeing this bull before with a very pinkish nose. I wonder if it maybe has something to do with having an injury and then a scar. Hello, Duggar boys on Bum Road. Yeah, boy. Hi there, Alan. Alan's asking, what are my highlights from my first day at Juma? Any mistakes that I made? Me? Mistakes? My first day at Juma. I know, the date was the 5th of December 2008, that I recall. The 6th of December is... Let's move along and I'll chat while we drive. Got buffalo moving off into... Oh, one horn's there, he's looking at us. Didn't realise we had a gap back to him. Okay, we'll stay where we are for now. I wonder if there'll be calcium deposits and things in the cervical vertebra on his neck, and muscle tone development on certain sides of his neck on account of the fact that he's lopsided. I wonder how that will affect things. You know, giraffe will get... I've seen giraffe skeletons where there's fused vertebra in the neck, where the calcium deposits have fused the vertebra from an injury before. Okay, it's a different story. But that's got to be awkward. Not really that heavy, just having one curl. But it's got to be a little bit lopsided, surely. Highlights my first day at Juma. Gosh, I can't remember. I do know the first morning drive I was on. Hit her on camera. took Twin Dams Road, and we arrived at Twin Dams, and I said, oh, there's a leopard. It was the first leopard that I'd seen in years, because I'd been living in other parts of Africa, or South Africa, where all I could do was find leopard tracks. But that was probably one of the highlights. And that was the Seka. That was the first leopard that I saw here in Western Gari, Twin Dam. Gari Dam was dry. There was only a little Gari waterhole. Sepiwe manning the camera. Let me think. What else was there? It was just Rexon, Herman, Sepiwe, and myself in camp. Oh, and Pete Brought. Sorry, Pete. Forgot you were there too. Pete's enjoying his last month and a bit of being a bachelor. No, well, hardly a bachelor anymore. He's engaged, but yeah, the single life. So there were only a few of us around. No, what am I saying? Peter must have been there because he was on drive with me. See, that's how bad my memory is. Actually, what happened was the first time I came, and I was on interview on the 5th of December of 2008, Peter and Lishan weren't here. Well, Lishan wasn't even here yet. That's right. I don't recall what I saw on drives then. I think the first drive as an employee, when I finally started working here, that was with Peter when I came back early the next year. After all the rains, after Gari Dam had filled up. Then my first real game drive as a presenter, that was when I saw Saseka. Okay, on we go. Bye, boys. Mistakes that I made, I'm sure I made many. Things that I still do today. I don't wait for the camera person to zoom out before I start the car. It's something that I've still got to learn to be more considerate about. Hey, Steenbok. Hello, little boy. We know you. We see you quite often. And only Steenbok doesn't run away so fast or far. Where's your lady friend today? There is a leopard prowling, you know. Bury yourself and your lady. Bye. Hello, Drongo. Take me to your leader. I mean, your elephant. Might find a zebra up here, but they might still be closer to the dam. I want to go this way because we're on Philemon's cut line. We're heading more or less west. I want to go this way because I suspect there are elephants somewhere to the west of us. If they haven't crossed over south already. Hello, Jerry. Jerry wants to know if any of the presenters have been so inattentive, I suppose. No, what's the word? Well, Jerry just wants to know if we've ever hit a tree or something from being distracted, or would drive like this, looking into the bush. Well, Tara nearly threw Kaz off the vehicle once, hitting a hole. Jared managed to, I don't know how he managed it, it must have been pretty sharp, but he managed to put a branch right through the headlight, right through the sort of frame of the front of the gun, no, the jigger, before we had the gun up and running. Yeah, I've nearly driven into things. I mean, it's about to happen. Drive with our eyes everywhere but the road at times because we're looking for animals. What's this? Elephant tracks. Same elephant. They've gone towards Zoe's road. They didn't cross over to the south. It must be the same elephant that came up from Treehouse. We might be lucky. Might be maybe. Maybe, baby. Ephraim sounded like he was up in the Plains way. He would have found something if they went that far. We shall see. And crossing the road, going west. Baby elephant, bigger elephant. Might not be able to find them. It would appear But they've now crossed. Still heading west. Northwest. Not these elephants, I don't think. Sorry, Bets. Not today. Zebra. Hello, Equids. Let's see if we can identify the stallion. Sneak closer to this one. She's letting me get really close. She was. Maybe she noticed me.
On the bushes throughout that area there. And I would say Mala here, Kazakhstan, also they're living one place, checking around here. And I was doing generally there, thinking that the space down throughout them again to move up. Mala, you don't have to, they might be there. But it's still here, the one guy.
got the guys looking for gorilla, evidently some impala, all looking in one direction. Very similar, if it wasn't for one extra mare here, very similar group to the group that were at Treehouse Dam, and I doubt that it could be the same group. They're a little bit too far away. Now, I see the stallion sitting much further back. See if I can just get the cart to roll forward. Yes, luck. Oh, that's why, because it was in gear, silly. I think that's the stallion at the back there. That'll be sort of on the edge of your right of your frame in the background. Yeah, that must be him there. He's had some pretty serious injuries on his rump. I don't know if we can really tell from this angle or this distance rather, but there's some scarring there. You can almost see just below, or just about where the hair starts on the tail. When his tail is at rest, you can see a very irregular line of that rump. That would have been a very, very bad injury at one stage in his life. Scar tissue healing. Got some lovely stripes at the base of her neck. 3 very, very broad bands. Got to be at least a 2-year-old trying to drink from her. we go back onto Zoe's road, we'll probably get a better view of them now that they're more into open grassland. It's nice to have zebra relaxed like this. Now looking at that zebra on the far left, who's the stallion, he's not only got a heavier chest area, thicker, broader chest area, but the base of his neck is much thicker than the mare's, and that's one of the means by which we can sex them, other than the obvious. This isn't so obvious. Ooh. Abel, did you have luck with that ingwe? Huh? So we're going to do Becker's Road and go back to that area. She's going to greet him. She looks very preggies. Very touching greetings. Oh. The other ladies are getting jealous. They want head rubs too. And he's playing hard to get. On the other hand, he's been waiting for them, and they've been fashionably ignoring him, and now finally that they've decided that they're going to follow him, he's decided to take them elsewhere, and he'll lead them off. I did say sometimes they hang out at the back, but I think when it comes time to going from grazing to water and vice versa, the stallion will lead. He's his territory, well, not territory, but it's his area. His mares, and they do take their cues from him. Okay, let's see what Rebecca's road has to offer. You know, come to think of it, could very well be the same group that was at Treehouse Dam. That maybe one mare didn't drink. How many were there? There was just the two mares and the youngster, hey? Well, yeah. Except that here they're fourth plus the stallion, and I think when we were there it was only 3 plus the stallion, but we might have missed one. I might be wrong. But other than that, it'd be very easy, because all you'd have to do is anybody can go back to, if you can, if there are archives, or if anybody took a screen capture from the zebra at Treehouse. Unfortunately, he's going up towards Impala Plains already, but you can compare stripe patterns. This looks like quite an old girl at the back. Yeah, she is. She's the one that's got those 3 very broad bands in the bottom of her neck, base of her neck. She looks like she's quite an old girl. Also got a big claw mark at the back of her rump there. Heading up the road, single file. Bye, children. Mind the cats. Wait a minute. Patty! Remember we were talking about the white on the tips of the... I think it was Patty. The white markings of the ears of the zebra. And there was one foal that had them and the mother didn't have the white markings. Let's just follow them a little bit. Oh, she looks so heavy, this girl at the back. They all stopped and they were all sort of listening and looking up ahead, because there's kudu up ahead. That's what they were looking at. Just go a little bit with them. Maybe we'll go and see those kudu up at the torchwood. I want you to zoom in and have a look at those ear markings. Very important.
Which one?
Any one of them. The white tips to their ears. What that is it's a common thread amongst a lot of animals, having specific markings that help with body language. And in this case, it allows zebras to view other zebras. Oh, look, he's having a roll. We so often see the markings where zebra have rolled on the roads in the dust. We don't get to see it very often. This is quite special, actually. An important aspect to their hygiene, rolling in the dust, as well as the horses do love it. Good scratch of the back. But with those white tips to the ears, they can tell where other individuals are listening. One thing to point your head in the right direction, but it's another thing to point your ears in the right direction when you have these multi-directional ears. Oh, getting cheeky, little one. Biting your mother. She's not going to tolerate that for long, and you're going to cry in a minute. Maybe it's just a naughty little boy. Oh. Look how big she is. I'm sure she's got a foal inside her. Yep, it's a little boy. Probably two little boys. Or was it the main? No, it's not the main stallion. That's him standing on the right. The young boy. Which means that foal might also be a little boy, and that's why they're getting boisterous. Looks like it, yeah. Two mares, two foals, one stallion, and both foals are little boys, and they're getting naughty. What are the equivalent of young Impala rams sparring? It would be nice to see them doing some slightly more intense sparring. Now zebras stand up, they'll rear up on their hind legs and lash out at each other with tooth and hoof. Let's do a loop around to the big Balanites. I see some kudu up there. I'm glad we stayed with the zebra. Got to see a little something different. Mangwa. Mr. Stallion, thank you for allowing us to view you and your mares. Thank you, ladies, little boys. Petra, we still got an image from the camera of that Impala, on that Impala. Okay, thanks. No, I mean yes, but there's no sign of the leopard yet. Johnny, come in. Greg, we've got a camera on that Mala Bumba, unmanned camera, so we will know if anything happens there as soon as something happens.
CS Alpha Miami, Bruce.
No, dude, Safari TV.
Lekker, Marty, thanks. Mileage.
Sorry, go again?
5 mileage. The Maduro or Mafazi mileage.
The Mafazi, and only a little bit of the rump has been eaten, but it's in a very, it's in a knobthorn without very much space for him to feed on, so it'll be interesting.
What's the best way? Is it come down towards your guys' tires there?
Yeah, kind of between our car park and Graham's Gate, in between the two.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Thanks, Marty.
Okay, later. Well, the zebra have fallen in love with us because they are coming towards us now. There was a young kudu. I can hear her walking on these leaves, like walking on cornflakes. Young kudu bull, way down in the distance. I can't stretch back there.
Oh, sorry.
But I don't think he's like the dominant boy. He's too young. He's definitely one of the offspring of one of these kudu cows. But too young to be a bull of the herd, and probably getting at that age where he's hanging out around the edges of this herd of kudu. And have to move forward. They've all gone behind this lovely, enchanting torchwood tree. One of my favorite trees on the property was torchwood. Balanites. It is an ancient tree. Got to be a few hundred years old at least. Judging by the base of the size of the base. The rate at which torchwood grows, the rainfall, and the amount of growth that a tree has in this part of the world, I'd probably put it over 500 even. Maybe. Somewhere up there. Here the two little boy zebras just come ahead of us on the road. Those little colts. One just maybe a month or two, couple of months older than the other. And the younger one still been trying to entice the older little boy into playing. I'm not interested. But we're looking at kudu. There's a kudu X. Those two stripes of hers. Oh no, that's the upside down white calf. The mother that's got the X on the second stripe. And they are playing hide and seek. We move forward, they move behind the tree. Okay. Gonna do something for me, little zebra? Got a naughty face, this little one. This is the other little boy. These are the two young. I only noticed a few minutes ago that they're both little boys. I was curious about the behavior. At first I thought he was starting with his mother, and then I realized that it was actually a male. And they're both youngsters. You can have a roll in the dust. to my... Too old to take a nap. You often find baby zebra foals, you'll find foals lying down when the adults aren't moving very much. They'll lie down and sleep in the sun. Of course, we don't have sun now. And that was more about just a roll in the sand. Look at it. He's like a little punk rocker. Somehow there's like this expression on his face that he's thinking of what he can do next that is going to be naughty. Yeah, boy. Is that Debbie? Oh, Abby. Hello, Abby. Abby's wondering if there's a legend behind the name Torchwood. To my knowledge, because of its density, it burns very well. It burns for a long time. I think that's mostly why it's called a torchwood. Okay. I'm going to disturb you, little boy. Yeah, you. Talking to you. He looked at me and said, "You talking to me?" Talking to you, yes. See, he's starting the car. You can play with your brother. Brother from another mother. We'll just go back to your mother then. Sorry, child. But oh, bye bye, Zed. Thanks, that was fun. Did you learn something about us? It'll be an easy group to follow up on if we ever see them again. Right, now we were going to do Rebecca's road, so we just complete this little triangle. What? Quite a drought-resistant tree, the torchwood. Very good fodder tree during times of drought. It's like the shepherd's tree. Boskia albitranca. Patrick can whisper in my ear. Do you have any legends or stories about the torchwood? Okay. I was going to say, otherwise Abby must ask that question when you're on drive tomorrow to see if there's perhaps something you've got to say about the torchwood. I know you could probably use a lot of, don't you? You know, with some of the dense woods like leadwood, and I think torchwood is one of them that can be used as fence posts because they're so dense, and it's because of that density of the wood that makes them burn for a long time. And that density is pretty much impervious to insect damage. Termites, I suppose termites are insects, aren't they? But most importantly, rotting fungus, resistant to fungi. Another torchwood. That one we just went past. I saw the trunk of it. Rebecca's Road. If you're following us on the map, if you want to find the map, you can go to our Ning site, wildearth.ning.com, and look under the resources tab. You'll find a map of Djuma. Most of the names on the map are correct, and we try our best when we're driving around to just let you know which roads we're on. Some people even mark on their maps. I know some people use Google Earth, to pin their own little maps of some of the sightings and some of the things that we've seen. Excuse me. Clever. Zip up the microphone inside my jacket. A piece of bone. And judging by the shape of it, this is the cervical vertebra. It's number 1. Most mammals, all mammals, 7 cervical vertebrae. But the reason why I picked this up is because I think it was Nancy. I can't remember who it was that asked me the question the other day. Or not the question, but wanted verification of whether giraffe chew bones. And I promised that I'd find a bone that is likely to be the kind of bone that would be chewed. And this is one of them. It's a fairly old bone. In fact, it's a bone that actually looks like it has been chewed by the very likes of a giraffe or something, because when you get hyena chewing on bone or leopard and lion chewing on bone, they leave very, very sharp edges from those very, very sharp carnassial teeth of theirs. In fact, here you can see some. Can I put it closer? Here you can see some very sharp edges. There. But if we look at another part of the bone, we look at this area here, this ridge over here, you can see how rounded it is. And that's probably from a giraffe chewing on it. In fact, there's some areas of this that will make it look here as well. This is a kind of bone that is so old that it kind of does crumble a little bit. They still get a little bit older than this. I mean, I can probably break pieces off with my fingers, which I'm doing. Just little bits of calcium powder, and that's all they really need. Just get tiny little bits every now and then when they're chewing. And, well, this looks very, very much like the kind of bone that would be picked up by a giraffe. And some of the rounding off looks like it has already been used as a chew toy. It hasn't been on this road before, so that makes me think that it was picked up Kudu even. Could have been kudu. Picked up somewhere off in the bush, brought here and dropped after being chewed for a little bit. But yeah, I would say this bone, judging by its appearance, could have been lying around for a few years already. Even anything up to 5, 7, 8 years, maybe more. But that's the kind of bone, not the fresh bones from, or rather the bones from a fresh kill. They're far too solid. It's only after they've been lying around in the sun and slowly decomposing over the years that they start crumbling a little bit. And those are the bones that the giraffe and kudu like to chew on. The oil of the seed, did you say? Okay. Follow the finger. Since we were talking, no, not there, I mean up the tree. Sorry, Seb. Yeah. Since we were looking at tree orchids earlier, we didn't get a close-up view. There's one. One of the well-known tree orchids, this one on Rebecca's Road. Not in flower yet. When is it going to be in flower? Probably in... Gosh, I forget now. End of summer. Midsummer. Ancelia gigantea, this one is probably Nilotica, the subspecies. This one is a different subspecies to the one on elephant skull. This is a slightly smaller subspecies rather, and it is slightly different in that it has spots on the flower, making it a leopard tree orchid. The other one being the tiger tree orchid because it's only yellow, or tiger orchid. Ancelia gigantea is the other one. This one's Ancelia gigantea nilotica, I think. Let's revisit my book on that. Lee was just saying, regarding the torchwood, hearing from a guide at Pinda that knows more than me about the torchwood. That evidently there's an oil in the seed. Evidently the oil is flammable, and maybe that's why it's called a torchwood. I didn't know that. I do know that civets love the fruit, and I've grown them from seed. They've got a very, very tough outer casing to the seed, which makes it difficult to get into. But the fruit around it, of course, is palatable to a number of animals. The main one of which feeds on it is the civet, and the porcupine. Porcupines like it too. It's getting very grey, somewhat dark. Now Karula was clever, she'd do what I've seen other leopards do. She'd come down to film and dip, and she'd hang around waiting for one of those antelope to come and eat the flowers of the kigelia, of the sausage tree. But maybe there are not enough sausage trees here for her to learn that behavior. Stop me from still looking for her. We're going to go back to junction with Sprum Road and down to the northern side of Treehouse Dam, looking for both tracks and cats. all concentrate very, very hard on getting a message to Karula through universal energy that she's thirsty and she has to come to Treehouse Dam to drink some water and lay out on the edge of the dam. There is a heron. Quite strange this morning. This morning you were all watching a heron hunting at Griffelshoek Dam, while I had a heron at Gowrie Dam, and they simultaneously caught frogs. Thought that was quite surreal. Because if I had a zoom on the camera at the dam, I would have been able to zoom in on that heron, and I would have been able to switch between the two close-ups, and it might have even looked as though it was two cameras on the same heron.
Okay,